Paddling TV is brought to you by Ex Officio and their Soul Cool collection of shirts, which not only wick moisture from the body and dry quickly, but are made with ice-fill technology. Ex Officio's Soul Cool shirts actually dissipate heat and provide a cooling effect. Check them out at exofficio.com. Baja, Mexico. This is where Jim has become famous for catching mighty billfish from a kayak. Jim has loaded the deck for this trip, bringing Ken, Howard, and his best friend Matt Moyer along. He aims to catch marlin, and to do that he's going to need some of the best kayak fishermen on the water. Unfortunately, Mother Nature has a surprise in store.
Step at a time, don't be living on the line. I don't need a friend, I got more than on the mind. Sunshine in my brain, making everyone complain. Radio in the heart.
Hotel Punta Colorado is located in the East Cape region of Baja, which is just north of Cabo San Lucas, inside the Sea of Cortez. So we're just near the southern tip, just up inside, a little more protected. The hotel is a small hotel located out on a point, so there's never a whole lot of people. We're not near town. We're 15 minutes away from the closest town, and there's not a lot of houses or anything else around here, so it's a very secluded little spot. Once you're here, you really don't go anywhere. You just kind of hang out, get into the Baja frame of mind, and relax and fish and relax and fish.
We are at Fraley's in Baja, and I just caught my first rooster fish off a mega bait, jigging deep. We weren't supposed to really catch him that way, but it hit hard and it pulled hard.
You know, just that one day sure was spectacular, and I think people get a glimpse just from that one day of what an amazing place this is.
The wind is a little bit much for us today.
Wind's not too much for me, it's too much for him.
We were all pretty busy getting ready for the trip, and so one of the things we didn't happen to check was the weather before coming down. And it wasn't until we were in LA meeting Jock for the last leg of the flight down here to Baja where we realized that there was a hurricane on its way. Pretty much it was, at that point, it was angled directly to where we were going in Baja. So that wasn't a great start.
What do you say, Jim? I said it's a mite breezy.
Winds really picked up. They're blowing about 20-25 knots, and we spent a lot of time hanging out, watching the seas build. Did a lot of great kayak surfing because we couldn't do any fishing. This place doesn't usually get nice swell coming in, but there was some beautiful swell coming in, which made for some great surfing.
Got shut down a little bit because of weather, but made the most of those days surfing and just having fun. Didn't get quite as much fishing as we hoped, but had an excellent time on the water.
After 3 days hanging out, the wind hasn't slowed down. We came out this morning, checked it out. It's pretty flat. Brought the boats down here and launched, and it's actually been pretty good. Howard is just so casual, so calm, and he just was fighting a fish. I was like, oh, he's got a little fish, and then all of a sudden, wham! This huge marlin comes dancing across the water, and I mean, my arms just went straight into the air. I couldn't believe it. My jaw dropped. I was like, that is the coolest thing I think I've ever seen.
My first marlin from a kayak, and I think the most amazing part's when you don't know what you have at first and then see it jump out of the water right in front of you, and definitely know you're in for a long battle then. I think mine went about 4.5 hours, maybe a little more, I don't really know, but several hours there where you're just hanging on back and forth, and not too dramatic, but the beginning and the ending is out of control, and more than I ever hoped for.
It was just crazy because Howard was already on that 250 plus pound blue marlin, and I was kind of racing to kind of get out there. And as I was paddling, all of a sudden I hear this splashing behind me. It's not for everybody. It's definitely something that I think that if you're an experienced kayak fisherman, that you should try to do sometime in your life, is to catch a billfish. I just get a high out of catching fish. You know, it's just, I can't explain it. It's something that I think that you'd have to do yourself when you're pulling on a big fish and that fish is pulling out line and you can't control it. And it's exhilarating.
Oh man, this is insane.
Pretty tight, huh?
Oh man, that's our first couple hookups.
Around then, 'cause the ambulance came, they loaded me in. But it was a reaper came to fetch Monroe. Took him off on a black horse down my cassette road. Well, I don't know what we were thinking. Lord, the way that we've been drinking. Guess there's only one thing for sure. I left more than my leg and some blood down my but I'll no more. Ever step foot on my cassette.
Not often when I'm down here that I get to fish. I'm usually guiding clients and spending time with them, so I don't get a lot of time to fish. I'm really looking forward to fishing on this trip, and basically got about 2 hours of fishing on the first day because of Howard hooking up and then Maddie hooking up and me feeling like, you know, this is still my spot. It's still my job to kind of help them out with those bigger fish. And I wouldn't trade that for the world.
I have a lot of days where I think I'll never forget this day, and that's always a sure sign for me that it was a good story or a great day, and had an all-day fight. And right now, that's definitely on the top of the memory.
Good job, Howard. That was awesome. Great fight.
After finally achieving the big hit, it's time for Jim to call this season to a close and head home to the fish-filled waters of San Diego Bay. The adventure for Jim is far from over. More big fish and tall tales loom in these depths, but one question remains. Why? Why fish? Is it the thrill of the hit? Is it the adventure? What is it that drives us back to these often unforgiving waters?
Falling apart. I should have listened to you when I had the chance. 'Cause now I'm high.
It's been the people. It's been the people, and I hope that comes across in the movie, that how much fun we had, because we just had a ball with everybody. The other night, sitting in the dark, just BSing, just talking about what's your favorite movie, you know, who's your favorite actress, who's the worst actress, who's the worst actor. I mean, just sitting there and just talking and having fun and just hoping fish would come along in the process. It was the people. It was really the people. The fish were really the bonus.
Wish I was home right now, 'cause I just wanna lie down. They say you work hard enough, and it'll all come to you. Well, I've been working like a dog, and there's still so much to do. Well, I guess I'll keep chasing my tail, if that's what I've got to do.
This is a story that a lot of people have never heard, and this story is about Jim Sammons of La Jolla Kayak Fishing. Jim, you know, obviously one of the pioneers of kayak fishing, so he says. But the truth is one day I was actually going out to fish La Jolla, and I saw Jim Sammons, you know, about knee deep in water, casting an iron out, trying to catch some fish. And what I told him, I said, you know, Jim, so what you should do is get a kayak like me and come out and start fishing.
Well, I met a friend of Jim's it was a while ago, 8 years ago, a guy named Matt Moyer. And he was into, I mean, he just loved fishing. He was a full-on angler. And so one day I told Matt, I've been fishing from my kayak, and it's been the coolest experience. It's amazing how much closer you can get to the fish, and the benefits are really real. You got to try it. And it took a while convincing, but finally I convinced Matt to try kayak fishing. And then before I even had a chance to meet Jim, Matt had then convinced Jim that kayak fishing was the next big thing.
One day I see Jim in the shore fishing for kayak. I call him, Jim, why not you and me, the others, fishing in the Super Panga kayak, go more far. Lighthouse, Los Frailes, La Ribera. You think so as a good plan? I think so as a good plan.
Now the guy just thinks he's all world, all Mr. Kayak Fisherman and stuff, you know. And I think it's pretty funny because I'm the one that actually taught him how to kayak fish. I'm the one that put him on his first yellowtail. I'm the one that put him on his first thresher shark. His marlin, he would never even caught it if I didn't bait his hook for him.
Oh, it's a rough start, Will.
He's just stuck in the hole!
Holy cow, she missed her line. He's going to be bitching and moaning the whole way, going, my arms are tired. Are we there yet?
Slower than yours.
Yeah, he's going to be complaining about his boat. It's always the boat. I might grab that lure.
Good night, Jim.
Good night, Will.
Where was that? Its stability was also nice to have when we were landing big fish or dealing with rougher seas. I'm like, who is kissing me with that little beard?